All right, let's see if we can make this bass line work. So we've got one. Now, for our next note, we have a 5. Now remember, we don't have to be in root position for this. And in some cases, it's better off if we're not, like when we're trying to extend the tonic area. Um, so our 5 chord is G, G, B, D. So what's the closest note for C? It's actually gonna be to go to B. Again, this is paralleling that Bach one, isn't it? Yeah, where we went down at first and then up. I think we're probably gonna do the same thing. Yeah, because for one, we might as well go up, right? Um, that's cool. Now I don't want to go down again to this B because that's not very interesting. It's going to do 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 do. It's going to sound like Jaws. So let's jump up to this E. G B D. Oh, that E isn't there. This D works though. Does that make sense? So C B C D. Yeah, great. Nice little bass line. So now we're on a 1 chord again. So my closest note in my 1 chord is going to be E, if I want to keep going. That's a tricky one because that's going to double the third, which we can do. We just have to be a little careful about it. So we'll have to pay attention to that when we fill out the chord, but that's okay. Now, I've got these 3 ones in a row, and I want to make sure the bass line moves. I might keep one of my inner voices to be the same note all the way through, like how this is, but I want the bass line to step down. So I'm going to go through the chord, E, C, down to G, and then for this 6 chord, we'll go up to A. That'll be nice. So these are bigger leaps, but they're just walking through the chord, and I think it'll be okay. It's not the smoothest voice leading, but it'll be kind of fun. I should be labeling my harmonies here. So, labeling my inversions, I should say. So here we have 1 tonic. Here we have a 1-6, or a 5-6, I mean. Here we have 1 root position. Here we have a 1-6-4 because the 5th is in the bass. Here we have the 3rd in the bass, so that's a 1-6. Tonic, and then 6-4. Let's pull that down there. And then a root position 6 chord. A is in the bass. Okay, let's do the next measure. So I'm going to do the same thing of stepping down through the chord, the little arpeggio, with this 2 chord. But I'm getting pretty low, so that might be tricky. Maybe we can step up. So our 2 chord is D, F, and A. So I'm on an A. What if I jumped up to a D? And then I went through the chord backwards. D, A, F. That works. It's a big jump here, but we've got a really jumpy bass line, so that can kind of work. And then I've got my 4 chord, which I'm on an F. So I want to change that note to something different. Staying on an F would be great, but because F is the root of that 4. Let's try staying on that note. That might feel not very satisfying to have the same note there, But the chord changes, so a lot of the inner voices are going to change. So it might be okay. We'll see. And the main reason I want to do that is because next, if I do a 1-6-4 here, this note has to be G. So that F to G is nice voice leading. So now I've got a 5 chord. So check this out. Here's 1-6-4 with a G. 2 notes later, I've got a 5 chord, which we do want in root position. So I could just stay on a G for these 2 in between notes, right? That would totally work, but it would also be totally boring. So let's try. My notes of the 5 chord are G, B, and D. So let's do B, and D. Let's go right up through them. So that means that I have, let's go back and label my inversions. So here is a 2 chord with a D in the bass, that's root position. With a 5th in the bass, that's a 6-4 chord here. Here we have a 2 chord with a 3rd in the bass, that's going to be a 6. Here we have a 4 chord root position, a 1-6-4 chord. Let's write that not goofy. One, 6, 4, 5 chord, which is G, B. So we got the 3rd in the bass. So that means it is 1st inversion. Now we've got it with the 6th in the bass. So that's 6-4. And now we've got root position 5-1. Okay, we're cruising. Interesting bass line happening here. So now let's try to parallel what we did before, right? So what happens here, same as what happened here. Actually, the next 2 bars. So let's see if I can just do the exact same thing. I think I can. Let's label my inversions right. So I'm going to have a 5-6, 1, and then a 5-6-4. And then a 1-6, and then a 1 root position, and then a 1-6-4. Let's pull that down a little bit. And then a root position 6 chord. All right. So for this 2 chord, let's see what we can do here. So our 2 chord is D, F, and A. I'm on an A. Let's see if we can walk backwards. If this, well, yeah, so I don't want to stay on an A because I do want this to have some motion here. So I could jump all the way up to a D, which I think I'm going to. I know this is going to be kind of a jerky bass line, but I think it'll still be kind of melodic. So D, and then so that makes a root position 2 chord. 4 chord, a root position would be F in the bass. But I could also do a 4-6-4 and step that down. This 1-6-4 needs to be a G. So I'd have to do that. So because these 2 notes are the same, what if I did this? I took this note. So I went D, D, G, G, C. I think that would have a nice sound to it. It's jumpy, but I think we'll really push home the harmony by doing that. And that gets us through the whole thing. So that means that's 1 root position. This 4 is actually... Oh, that doesn't work. This has to go down to a C. Because this is F, A, C. So that has to go down to a C. That's too bad. That's okay. I still think that'll sound nice. So now, but that means this is 4, 6, 4. And then 1, 6, 4. Let's put the right kind of stuff on that. 5, 7. And 1 root position. Okay, we did it. Man, this is tedious stuff, isn't it? This is why people go to college for this. Okay, let's hear what we've got with our bass line, our melody, and our couple of cadences, all right? Here we go. Okay, pretty interesting. The only part I didn't like was right in here. So we used all this 2 when I really feel like it feels 4. You know, like it kind of sounded weird here because I think we're really feeling some kind of 4 harmony here, especially when it got down to this 2. Let me just hear that part again. Yeah, these 2 notes. If this was a 4 chord, it would be F, A, and C. Well, it's mostly the same. It's really only 1 note different. So let's leave it. Let's harmonize it. We'll see what happens. I feel like this bar just got oddly dark. You know, it was like, wait a minute. This is not Mary Had a Little Lamb. This is something scary and weird. But let's keep rolling with it. We're having fun. Okay. Next thing is to finish it out with all our inner voices. Let's go to a new video and do that.